bouncing, right, from point A to point B, just does one bounce, and that has a little bit of squash and stretch. But I'm noticing that there's a little gap there. Let's just zoom in. And on frame, let's click on the sphere and look halfway there. That's number 24. That's there's a little gap there from the point where it touches the ground to the point that it kind of goes away, right? Gets off of it. There's two ways that you can fix this. You can either lift the floor plane and raise it up a little bit, and then that will get rid of it. It will look like it touches the ground. You see it collides with the ground and gets up, and then it will be evenly distributed. But if that happened on an animation where you're creating a walk cycle or something that is a little bit more complex, you might not have the option of just moving the floor plane. So the other option that you had, and I'm clicking undo here to show you what other choices you have, is to, at that frame where you see, oh, well, there's a gap there, on that frame, let's say this frame 24, select the move tool, and you just need to update that frame. Just position it where it should be, let's say it's there, and press S to update that key. So let's see what happens if we play. Before, now it touches the ground and goes. Okay, perfect. Let's update the next one. Let's go to the last frame on 48 and notice that it's still not updated. So I'm just gonna hold that key, on frame 48. I'm gonna update that key by moving down and press S. That just pretty much updates that key immediately. So it goes up, touches ground, goes up, and I'm kind of going backwards here, and go to frame 1. So on frame 1, let's update it. Let's go down with the move tool over here. Just move it down on that axis until it touches a little bit the ground, and press S to update that key. Every time I press S, I see a change down here on the command box. So you will see a little change there, and see. If not, you can always move it and see if it's updated. If you see it updated, then it was placed correctly. If not, just redo it from that point on. Okay, so excellent. So we got to fix that. The other thing I wanted to show you how to work with is let's play it in the right direction, right there. Notice, I'm not sure if you notice, but as the sphere touches ground halfway there, notice that there's a little bit of a slide. I don't know if you notice. I wish it could just briefly touch the ground and go. It kind of lingers too long there on the floor for something that is so rubbery and flexible. So something that is typically done is changing the tangent so that it spends less time down on that bottom position, and it kind of briefly quickly touches it and goes away. So let me show you how to do that. Let's go to Window, Rendering Editors, Animation Editors. Windows, Animation Editors, Graph Editor. Okay, and you're gonna see a window that opens, and it's a big curve display of a bunch of lines that we don't understand what they do yet, right? So here's what we're gonna what you're looking at over here, and I just put it there on the top so that you have it as reference. You can always have it side by side, it doesn't matter. Okay, so what you're seeing there is a graphic representation or graphical representation of the movement of the sphere in all the axes over here, in translation on X and translation on Y, translation or rotation of Z or scale. Okay, so if I move on the timeline, notice that yellow bar is telling you where we are on the timeline, so it kind of correlates. And what I want to do, let me zoom out a little bit or do this even better, is go to that frame kind of halfway over here, and the movement I want to edit is the up and down movement, which in this case, if I look at the axis, will be the y-axis, the one that goes up. So translate y, that's a curve. There's my translate curve. So let's play. If you play it, you notice that it's kind of like the same movement that the sphere is doing, right? If you look at the sphere on the side view, on the viewport, you can see that it's kind of the same movement that it's almost as if it was following up and down, right? The same movement. So I hope that helps you see what is it that you're looking at on the graph editor. So what I'm going to do is when the sphere touches ground, which is this frame over here on 24, right here, we'll put it on the timeline, we can see it clear. I'm going to select that key over there, and what I want to do is make it that that it touches briefly, and I'm going to achieve that by making that movement very sharp, or that tangent very sharp, so that it spends less time down here, so that it doesn't look like it slides so much. Okay, so I'm gonna go over there, and I'm gonna go tangent, break, tangents. Okay, so with my that key selected, go tangents, break tangents, and I'm on the graph editor window. Okay, then I'm gonna select one of the handles and middle mouse, and I'm gonna make it like kind of like to look like a V more than a U. So select that tangent, that handle, and change the tangent, which is the angle, to be kind of like a V. What's happening there is that the movement is going to be very brief. So it's going to touch briefly and move away, rather than this nice curve, round curve that we have here that shows some deceleration and slow deceleration, you know, as the sphere is at the top. So let's take a look at what happens now. Our sphere touches quickly. I don't know if you see it, bloop, touches quickly and gets up on that frame. Okay, so I want to do that on all the down squashes to further emphasize a brief touch and then take off the ground. So I'm going to do it for the beginning one on frame 1. So I'm going to select it, tangents, break tangent. I'm going to drag a selection around the handle, and with the middle mouse I make it a V. There's no need to edit the other one, because the other one's we're not seeing that in the animation. So I'm going to do the same on the last one, just so that when it squashes, it briefly touches the ground and gets up really fast. So select that key, and then go tangents, break tangents, and I'm going to select that handle and middle mouse and make it like a little bit sharp. Okay, so there you go. Now you're probably not gonna notice, but it goes faster. If we had a little bit of more, more animation before that, we could see it a little bit more clearly, but we can see that what happens here. So it quickly touches the ground and bloop, bounces very fast. I hope the sound effect also helps. So quickly bloop, touches and then goes away. But in this case, because we're ending the animation there, we're not going to see it at work. So whenever you have a bounce on the floor that you are using squash and stretch, see if you want, it can apply this concept of smoother, rounder, means that spends more time in that position, so kind of slides or glides through that. And then this kind of sharper movement indicates a brief touch and then goes out of that position quickly. Okay, so I just click on the graph editor here. That way we minimize it. So there it is. We have our first bouncing ball exercise, and this one kind of goes from point A to point V. You can do the same, you know, can make it bounce in the same spot by just making it go up and down, right? So that will be another variation of this